Hi, I'm Wes, AE0OC. I'm still working towards live streaming the nets that I am net control on. I made some major improvements on getting rid of the hum on receive. Turns out it was my mixer picking up the PL tone from the radio. I'm going to start with a short sample recording of the Smart Tech Net. Then I'll explain my solution.
Let's go back up to AE0OC. Wes, how's it going over there?
Well, I think I've got my hum figured out. At least it is at least 90% gone. That little EQ that I was talking to you about has made a big difference. And I figured out I had a setting wrong. I'm trying to do a test recording because I wanted to compare it back and forth with the live stream and see how I sound on both ends and how the recording turns out. But I think I got my settings figured out. I bought a new webcam and I was not picking up the radio. I wasn't seeing the volume go up and down on the radio when it was coming through. Well, it was picking everything up off the webcam microphone. It automatically switched it over to that. So we got that all switched around, and I think I'm up and going and got a test recording going so I can have a listen to it.
Those webcams with mics are probably the biggest source of consternation, because I think I've got the machine kind of trained now to not switch there, but it would, for months, that would be where it defaulted to, was the webcam. Now I've got a deal on the Linux side where I can the pulse audio volume control. I can switch to whatever volume source. I can pipe one to the other or whatever, and it solved a lot of problems. But boy, I tell you, it just continually did that, and it still gets the wrong audio card always on the live stream. So I have to go in and double check everything.
Yeah, and the bad part is that it had the webcam listed as USB audio, which is what normally my mixer goes in as. And now my mixer is listed as USB audio 2. And so that's what really had me confused, because I was on the right setting, I thought. But no, it had changed my settings.
Yeah, the thing I did, the main output of the mixer is on a rather complicated looking USB capture card, and it doesn't have video into it, but the audio is just stellar. I mean, when it's quiet, it's dead quiet. That took a while to get figured out that I had bad USB audio cards. It took a little bit to get that sorted out, but trust me, you'll work on it a long time before you get it right.
Yeah, this Phoenix Pro mixer has a pretty quiet, clean output into the radio on USB, into the computer on USB. My only issues I've had was the PL tone coming out into the headphones and then into the computer off of the radio. That was kind of a mess. And then for some reason, it was fine going into the computer with my Mackie mic, but into the headphones and onto the recording, it sounded awful. So, or not, on the radio, it had a noise, and into the headphones, it was awful. Let me rephrase all that. But for recordings, it sounded great. So I'm not really sure what the deal was with that, but I really do like this new Rode mic. I just kind of liked having the Mackie where I could be a little further away from it.
Yeah, and I think the I'm trying to say it here, but what you added to kill the hum on your radios, that only affects them. It does not affect your microphone, right?
Correct. It is a parametric EQ that is only on the received audio. And so it affects everything coming out of the radio going into the mixer, and then everything, of course, from there on into the computer or into the headphones. It takes that PL tone out.
Okay, this time the microphone sounds perfect, except you've lost a lot of bass. It sounds a little tinny. Maybe you've got a EQ changed on that, but I mean, everything else the same. It sounds great. So I'm not sure what's going on with it, but might check that one.
Okay, well, I added just a little bit of bass into the EQ where the mic runs through, if that might make some difference. But I had it all set exactly the same as the last TechNet, so I'm not sure why it would sound any different.
It's very readable, very clear, but it's a little tinny, and that did help a little, but not terribly. So you might review the live stream and see how it sounds. But as far as like background noise and other associated things that goes on, it does not have it. It's very clean.
All right, well, I added just a little bit more to it too, just to see if that made a difference. But I'll listen on the live stream and see. Are we still on for tomorrow?
Yep, I'm planning on being out of here about the time Patty goes, which is about 9:30. So I'll see you probably a little after 10, and we'll go through everything that I can tell you. I don't know if you're noticed on the live stream. I'm taking a bit more advantage of this faster internet speeds upload, and got it back up to a standard bit frames per second, so that it's maybe a little clearer, hopefully.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed unless it was on last week's. But my internet is not going to be nearly as fast as yours, so we will probably have to keep things down pretty low level.
Yeah, I'm figuring that'll be the facts. I dealt with 4 megabits per second forever, so I know we can make it work.
All right, well, I'll let you get on to the next ones. So I'll catch you on the last round. A0OC, back to net.
All right, thanks, Wes.
The PL tone for all the repeaters I normally use is 162.2, so I needed a way to EQ that frequency out of the signal. My budget solution was a $30 7-band EQ designed for car stereos. I came out of the radio with a 3.5 millimeter to RCA cable to the EQ, then to the mixer with an RCA to 1/4 inch cable. For this testing, I left the EQ set flat except for the 125 Hz band, which I dropped the full 12 dB of the EQ. It removed at least 90% of the tone in my headphones, and I'm hoping it won't even be noticeable on the recording. As an added bonus, I should be able to run my HF radio into it also and adjust the tone for best clarity. Eventually, I will be able to add a pair of monitor speakers, so I'll have multiple options. I'll leave a link for the EQ in the description. As always, thank you for watching, and 73.